It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at U-Like, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. U-Like. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
Happy Monday. Happy Football Monday. College and pro football. It's the Pete Sousa Show. We're coming to you live from North Texas, just probably 5-6 miles from the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport in Flower Mound. Of course, wherever we are presented by Slovacics. My good friend Scotty Swingler is holding it down in the studio. Big weekend for Scotty. Had a big wedding to go to. He was the best man in the wedding. He performs wherever he is, just like Slovacics presents this show wherever we are. Scotty had a big wedding weekend that came in unison with a huge win for Baylor. We're going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about a surefire way for everybody who watches this show to get paid. Okay, I've got a way that we can all get paid Now, it's not a guarantee, so I shouldn't say surefire, but it is the one bet out there in college football that is still there that can make you a lot of money and has a chance of happening. Not a long shot anymore, and we'll talk about that. Randy Cross, 3-time Super Bowl winner, right? 3-time Pro Bowler. You know him from playing with Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and Roger Craig, and for Bill Walsh and George Seifert, part of that dominant San Francisco 49ers dynasty, and now a college football analyst for CBS. We got a chance to track down Randy, and he's going to talk to us this morning. I want to ask him about not only all of the hot topics happening around pro football on this Overreaction Monday, as some people like to call it, but I want to hear his thoughts on the current state of college football. Coaches taking pay cuts to help the NIL. UCLA, what the hell has happened to them? And I also want to get his take on and his thoughts about the Baylor football team and how well they've played and some other things Big 12 related. But we're going to begin with last night's NFL game against or the Bills against the Ravens. Truth be told, Sunday night at 10 o'clock, I called a football game at UCF on Friday. I prepared for that game nonstop. I watched games all Saturday up until that game. Watched games all yesterday, right? And by Sunday at like 9:30, 10, I'm like, okay, let me watch something else. And that game was a 15-point game, 40 or 41 to 25. No, 40 to 25 with like 5-10 minutes left or whatever it was. And I was like, you know what? Okay, Christy, let's put a show on. We put a show on. We fall asleep. I wake up and I see all of this wild stuff that happens. The Ravens just can't seem to beat the Buffalo Bills. This isn't so much about that. I don't even want to talk about the game. I want to talk about the moment where Lamar Jackson shoved the fan in Buffalo at Rich Stadium, the last year of Rich Stadium, by the way, historic Rich Stadium. And we've seen the clip many times by now. The fan slaps DeAndre Hopkins on the head. Then he slaps Lamar on the head because Lamar likes to do, a touchdown celebration near fans. Now, and the fan hits these guys like rather hard, okay? And there's the image of Lamar shoving the fan. And by the way, it was a shove, and that's all it was, okay? He just shoved the guy. He apologized after the game. Let me read his quote, by the way, because it's only fair. By the way, there's just really not much not to like about Lamar Jackson, one of my favorite guys in the NFL. Here's what he said after the game. I saw him slap D-Hop, talking about Hopkins. Then he slapped me. He was talking. So I just forgot where I was for a little bit. You got to think in those situations. We got security out there. Let security handle it. I let my emotions get the best of me. Hopefully it won't happen again. I'll learn from that. He said, I'll probably do the touchdown celebration again when we score. It's not nothing against the fans. I'm celebrating when my teammates get a touchdown. Look, I have thought this, and this goes back to my days working in the NBA. In public relations, you're a conduit between the players, basically the team, right? You're a conduit for the team, which involves players, front office, and to the media, right? And fans, and even in Charlotte, and especially when we will go on the road, but definitely in Philly, the things that fans just say to players, I promise you, I would never condone it. I'm surprised they don't go in the stands more often. I really am. I truly am. Of course, you have to show that restraint, but I'm surprised they don't go in the stands more often. This guy, this fan, you can do whatever you want. You can't physically like assault these guys. Now, was assault strong word, but you get what I'm saying. I don't think like this should even be a conversation, and I don't think it really is a big conversation this morning. But that was one thing when I woke up, I was like, he shouldn't even get in trouble for that. They're going to have to do something just for precedent and how it's set. But it's not okay. Like these guys are people too, and they react like people. It's almost like, people that are on Twitter, right? Like, of course, you're going to come at somebody on Twitter or online because you're not going to see them, right? Same thing at a game like that. You have security guards everywhere. You feel protected as a fan, so you can act out. You can act like a fool and think you're going to get away with it. Lest anyone think that these guys don't have emotions and aren't able in the moment or are unable at times to control those emotions. Again, it goes back to what I said last week. Like, football is one of the most interesting sports. And I know this is a reach, but it's like being a fireman or a police officer or a soldier that goes to battle. And here's what I mean. We ask these guys, or expect of these guys, to be complete gladiators, right? For the 60 minutes that this game is being played on the football field, and usually in between the whistle, right? Whatever it takes to get them hyped up. But like, no. The whistle blows, right? You step off the field. No. We need you to become one of the more calm, collected types of people that is among society. Because out in society, people are going to take shots at you, whether it's online, whether they yell it from far away, right? They never say it to you one-on-one because that's scary, right? And they might suffer a consequence. But when they're protected, whether it's behind a keyboard or a security guard or a stanchion, they feel that they're at liberty to do whatever they want to these players. And once in a while, when a guy gets riled up and returns the favor, I don't think he should be held to the ultimate consequence. And I don't think we should be shocked. Okay, so that's my soapbox there. And by the way, Lamar, at some point you're going to have to beat Buffalo, and hopefully it'll be in the postseason. I look back on these games. Opening weekend games are amazing. If you remember, the Ravens lost a complete heartbreaker last year on that Thursday night when they lost to the Chiefs. These games are heartbreakers, right? But you learn from it. I do want to ask Randy Cross about, like, as far as a team and its maturation process to go to the Super Bowl. Like, would that have been important? We'll check in with him, see what he has to say. I'll tell you what's important and what's got me super agitated this morning, okay? The lack of respect that Sawyer Robertson is getting around the country for the work he has been putting in. Now, first and foremost, let's talk about that Baylor victory, okay? Now, I don't understand it. Scotty and I have talked about it ad nauseum. You know, he was on with Terrence Ganaway last night doing Please Bear With Me, which you guys have to listen to. It is online on the Rogue Media Network and on the Rogue Media YouTube. You can find it, all right? I'm not here to hand out all Scotty's handles and stuff like that. We'll let him handle that when he gets all the glitter off of him from his big wedding celebration, you know. I wonder if he caught the garter. Is that what happened? I forget that stuff. We'll find out when he takes the mic here. But I want to get back to the Baylor game. Dave Aranda and Baylor, they're notorious for starting slow. I got a text message from my man, Roy Philpott. Roy's going to join us later in the week, ESPN play-by-play guy. Roy texted me. Okay, Roy's like my guy. He's like my mentor. He texted me, though, and said, hey, man, like, I'm really disappointed in Baylor. They look like hot garbage, and I really thought they were going to be better than this. Roy had their bowl game last year against LSU, and he just loved, if you remember, if you've been a watcher of the show, he joined us like the day after that loss that Baylor had to LSU in the bowl game, and Roy was like, dude, I am so on board with this Baylor team and what they're doing. And I'm sure he is again this afternoon or this morning. But Baylor and their slow starts, we got to figure a way to rectify that. But once again, they did it on Saturday, and there is a greater than belief around this Baylor football team that was there last year. And oh, by the way, it's there again this year. And that greater than belief, I always talk about this, and people can tell me to kick rocks or whatever. If you've got a higher power in your life, if you have a God in your life, if you have something in your life that helps you take the pressure off of you and turn it over, where you say to yourself, I'm going to do my part. I'm going to do my part. And God or my higher power or Allah, whatever it is, right? They will do the rest. They have control of the rest of the situation. I'm going to do my part. You hear about amazing quarterbacks and amazing people in society and how they handle pressure. That is one way to get the job done. And that is the way that Sawyer Robertson has been getting the job done since early last season when he finally got the nod to start at quarterback for Baylor. He's healthy, most of the time at least, and he is dominant. Let's take a look at his numbers just over the first 2 weeks, okay? I wrote all these down, and I got some takes, so just get ready, okay? It's very important. While the rest of the country in their first 2 games of the season were playing maybe a huge game against the non-conference Power 5 opponent, Power 4 opponent. I get that, okay? one of those. But then you play an FCS opponent. Baylor has now played a ranked, what is a ranked SEC Auburn football team, okay? And they played what was a ranked college football playoff team, SMU, okay? In those two games, Sawyer Robertson has thrown for 859 yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. And by the way, I'm not even counting what he does with his feet, because any coaches now that sleep on Sawyer Robertson and the quarterback draw or his running ability, you got a problem that I can't solve, because by now y'all should have figured that out. But you haven't, and that's fine. Sawyer Robertson is this, and I always bring it back to gambling, and I'm not gambling on Baylor because I like Baylor, and I don't care if anybody can say, oh, Pete, you're supposed to be inside the 12. You call Baylor games sometimes, like you did a UCF game. You did a Houston game, how can you cheer for Baylor? I don't cheer for Baylor openly. I love the university. I love people affiliated with it. They helped me get my start on that next level of broadcasting for me. And John Morris, you could say, is one of the biggest reasons why I'm doing play-by-play for ESPN now. So I'm always going to love Baylor, and you can blow it out your ass if you got an issue with that. So as I'm watching Baylor, and I'm hoping for a comeback on Saturday, the one thing I do not worry about is Sawyer Robertson. Like, Baylor fans, I want you to take a moment and thank, I know we're doing heavy God, but again, we're liberal here, but I want you to thank the person upstairs or whoever that person is in your life, right? The Baptist, probably God. Just thank him for Sawyer Robertson, because of all the stressed out situations that college football fans have, 99.9% of the time it goes back to your quarterback, okay? When Sawyer Robertson has the football, I feel so free as a fan. I don't feel confined. I don't feel pressure. I feel free. I feel, what's this badass going to do next type energy, okay? And that is the same type of energy that he used to get Baylor back down 2 scores with, 5-6 minutes left. They take the game to overtime. They win the game. Ice water in this dude's veins, okay? Now, just a few states away, long drive, shorter flight, in Starkville, Mississippi, later on that evening, I got a chance. Now, I'm calling my game at UCF, okay? Now, this game becomes a 60-0 affair. You want to see quarterback issues, okay? FCS opponent, North Carolina A&T, goes to Orlando to play a pissed-off UCF team. They lost 3 quarterbacks. 3! Their coach after the game, they were like, yo, Coach Gibbs, was it worth $500,000 to come to Orlando to play at the Bounce House? The place was sold out. It was rocking. He said unequivocally, no. He was like, this is ridiculous. Now, there's people inside that athletic department at North Carolina A&T that'll say, bro, we get you to play 2 more of these money games. We got $1.5 million. That covers our athletic department for the entire year. So they're necessary for those kind of athletic departments. They just are. I think sometimes a lot of these FCS coaches think that they're being sent to walk the green mile when they play those games. And there's truth to that. But FCS opponents have been there for guys like Sam Levitt, right? Sam Levitt's first game, Northern Arizona, an FCS opponent. They dominate, right? We saw him run for a 50-yard touchdown. We saw him throw for more. But then, too many cowbells. I mean, the cowbells could not have been that loud. For a guy we're talking about going in the top 5 of the NFL draft next year, the guy who I always thought this, and I think Sam Levitt's a great quarterback and a great kid. We're talking strictly football breakdowns here, okay? The fact that everybody was like, Sam Levitt is the second coming of Aaron Rodgers, I thought was insanity, okay? And I still think that. And now I believe it more than ever. 10 for 22, 82 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, right? Is that what I got here? Yeah. And it was bad, dude. It was bad. Like, in a game where we saw a quarterback like Sawyer Robertson, right, playing against a ranked opponent, like, he took his team down the field like 3 times under heavy-duty pressure, made all the throws, right? Doesn't leave the pocket until he has to. I'm not sitting here. It annoys the shit out of me that Colin Cowherd is always talking to me like he's Bill Belichick, or Bill Walsh, I should say, as we get ready for Randy Cross. I talk to other people who are close to the Bill Walshes, right, and the Randy Crosses. And I talked to a couple of them this weekend. I talked to them about 2 quarterbacks, or 3. I talked to them about Sawyer, a big-time NFL scout. I talked to him about Sam Levitt, and I talked to him about Bear Bachmeier. First of all, the Bear Bachmeier stuff, what I'm hearing from people around pro football is, okay, we're keeping an eye on this dude. I mean, obviously, you don't want to say it's premature because they're always keeping an eye on people. The kid is 19 years old, Bear Bachmeier. 19. He devoured that BYU offensive playbook, which is by no means like a simple deal, right? It's just not. Aaron Roderick has there's a lot going on there. Okay. So that in itself tells you so much about this guy, that he earned that starting job in camp against 2 very experienced Power 4, or not Power 4, very experienced Division I quarterbacks, right? And he's dominated. He has shown poise, right? He has made the smart throws. He stays in the pocket. He doesn't leave early, right? This is what I was told. And his poise and his mechanics and his moxie and his size is measurable, his great arm strength, they are really catching the eyes of NFL scouts. And BYU has a bye this week. Okay, next week after that, they go on the road to ECU. And here's what I'll tell you about that ECU game. It's not a trap game when you have a bye before it. That's truly what I believe. It can't be a trap. And I believe in the name of Andy Reid, right, a BYU alum who dominates the week after buys, I think BYU will do the same deal, right? And then you jump into your Big 12 schedule. Bear Bachmeier and BYU, like, I'm buckle up, baby. I was so pissed I didn't get a call to do one of those early BYU games. You know, I'm happy to go wherever I can, but I just know Provo. I know that environment, and I want to see, like, he was the first true freshman ever to start a game for BYU. Think about the illustrious history of BYU quarterbacks. I've talked about it on this show forever. People give me a hard time that I bring up Mark Wilson when I say those names. Too bad. Okay. Mark Wilson was great. Not great as a Raider. But I want to jump back into Sam Levitt as we finish up some of this quarterback talk, and then we'll go back to Sawyer. Sam Levitt, again, that game was 60-0 my game. So I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't have that Arizona State game on to my left, right, with like minutes left in our game. And I during a break was able to see Sam Levitt just panic. And they couldn't finish a drive where they were on the inch-yard line that would have won them the game. They could only kick a field goal. And then I don't know what was going on with Arizona State's defense. 9 guys back. It seemed like they had nobody on the field. And they made Blake Shapen look like Tom Brady. Really, they did. God bless Blake Shapen, right? But it was frustrating as somebody who wants to see the Big 12 do well. So I'm a little resentful of Sam Levitt this morning. That could contribute to some of this. Last thing, okay? I told you we were going to make some money, or at least I was going to put us in contention. Sawyer Robertson's odds for the Heisman Trophy have lengthened after the first 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on. I'm not asking questions. I will just tell you this. If you haven't seen enough out of Sawyer Robertson, right, to put a couple shekels on that dude to win the Heisman Trophy right now, don't tell me I didn't tell you. Do not tell me that I didn't tell you. I'm looking you right in the eye, and I don't do this that often. Don't tell me I didn't tell you, okay? The guy is a house of fire. And thank God Baylor has a chance to catch their breath against Samford next week, right? And then they welcome Arizona State to the friendly confines of McLean Stadium. And Baylor is going to be feeling really good about themselves come kickoff that Saturday against Arizona State. And I'm feeling really good about Baylor right now, too. We'll step aside. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Quick conversation. I wanted to talk to Scotty about some stuff. And then we're going to turn it over for Randy Cross. So we got to get the break quick. All right. Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovaceks.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
It is. I went way too high with this, Scotty. Hang on one sec, buddy. Scotty likes he's really gets on me about some of this stuff.
Pete sure does love his headroom, doesn't he?
Scotty. So, a quick question. How was the wedding?
Phenomenal. Amazing. Great time had by all.
So were you able to watch the Baylor game leading up to the wedding?
I was.
All right. So talk to me about your emotional roller coaster. Were you able to keep it together?
Oh my God. I need to just show you my intro from Please Bear With Me last night. It summarizes it brilliantly.
I'll watch it.
Because I'm brilliant. But no, it was horrible, dude. It was quite the ride. Quite the ride. I believe I had 47 aneurysms throughout the course of that football game. But we made it, man. I have never felt more conflicted about a road ranked win.
Well, explain.
all the red flags are still there, bro. Like, I am not very confident in this football team. And you nailed it with Sawyer. Sawyer's the one piece of this that and Josh Cameron are kind of the pieces of this that I'm like, those guys are top of the country. I'm so confident. But Baylor can't run the football, which is going to be a problem. That was a huge key to their success at the back half of last season. And Baylor can't stop a nosebleed. And I know the defense made a couple plays there at the end to enable the comeback, but some of those plays they gave up first half are just inexcusable, unacceptable. And, you mentioned it with what you said. Was it Phil Pott that you said texted you, right?
Yeah.
David,
unsolicited. I was like, damn, people are, which kind of bummed me out because I was like, this is something that we say all the time. Scotty, you say it. Cam Stewart always says it. Baylor's notorious for starting slow under Dave.
I don't like how mentally tough this team is to come back all the time, but unable to start fast. Like this team, like there's a narrative here where it's like Baylor's mentally weak because they don't start fast. That's not true. This team is very clearly mentally tough. They don't quit on games. I mean, when they went down 14 with 7 minutes to go, our whole room was like, all right, ball game. Like there was literally statements made about like, we're actually a bad football team, or, going to be a long season. Fire Dave at halftime. Like we were making all those statements. This is a tough mental football team. They came back and won that game. All credit to them. All credit to Dave Aranda. But you've got to figure out how to not be in that hole. And you have to figure out, if you're a defensive guru, how to stop an offense. Like our defense looks, this might be the worst defense we've ever fielded under Dave Aranda. And that's unacceptable in year 6.
Let me ask you a question.
Outside of Keaton Thomas, what are we doing? What are we doing?
All right. So let me ask you a question. Like, from a personnel standpoint, is this unfixable? I don't know. Is this a scheme thing that can be worked out, or is it just we don't have the dudes?
So one, it doesn't matter either way. It's on Dave Aranda.
Well, so but you can no. You can figure the scheme thing out.
No. But either he's not adapting his scheme to his personnel, or it's probably both. Or he has not done a sufficient job identifying talent that suits his scheme. Both are an issue.
Okay.
But I liked your Sawyer Robertson rant though.
No, but hold on. But if you have the athletes and the players, you can fix it this year. So forget about responsibility. And we know that Dave he can adapt pretty quickly. And I
haven't seen him adapt at all through 2 games. So I'm waiting to see the adaptation.
I will tell you something. Like top of mind, I want to say Baylor needs a bye, but this is basically it. Coming up. I mean, you have not had this game yet, dude. And I know you're paying attention to what I said off the top. There's and I didn't look it up, and I'm pissed I didn't, but like, I don't know how many teams have played this quality of opponent in their first 2 games back to back.
Nobody. But
what do you mean? But that's a huge deal.
Okay, but this is not the only quality opponent Baylor's going to face. If you can't stop Jackson Arnold and Kevin Jennings from making your defense look bad, you're not going to stop Avery Johnson. You're not going to stop Devin Dampier.
Just might stop Avery Johnson, dude. Looks like you won that argument.
You're not going to stop Devin Dampier. You're not going to stop. Frick, who else do we play? Noah Fafita. I mean, all these guys are good.
You got Sam Levitt too, even though he's been rough. It's been rough for him. He comes in,
Sam Levitt might freaking rush for 200 yards on Baylor. That might be the comeback he needs.
I'm telling you, I will. This is, and you can say that I'm Mr. Positive guy. I do believe that Dave will. If it's something that the scheme can change, he will fix that.
Then freaking do it. Show me. Also, you were talking real good about Baylor, which I of course appreciate. But I said on Please Bear With Me, I think at best, if you were doing a power rankings today, Baylor is still like 4 at best. At best. I think Utah fans are feeling really good right now. I think Texas Tech fans are feeling really good right now. I know they haven't played anybody, but they've done everything they're supposed to do. Quarterbacks look good. Teams look good. I think Iowa State is in pole position right now. After defeating Kansas State overseas, beating Iowa, Iowa State looks to me like the team to beat in the conference right now.
Well, and Baylor was receiving votes top 25. I mean, and they were like 7 or 8. I think that's just, and again, we're looking outside, but that just shows the strength of their schedule. I'm telling you, let's not overlook that. I got one more question.
But we also I want to be clear. We don't know how good SMU is, by the way. Like SMU, I assume they're good, but they could be a 7-win, 8-win team this year. We actually don't know.
We don't know how good Northern Arizona is. Oh, wait, we do. They suck. Like Baylor hasn't had that opponent that they played yet. So you have to keep that into consideration. All right, and I do have one question for you. How many Super Bowls have you won?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, like 8 or 9.
No, you've won
Madden.
0.
Madden's like a good, beautiful thing.
You've won 0, and now it's time to bring in a 3-time Super Bowl winner, a 3-time Pro Bowler, college and NFL football analyst with CBS, and just an all-around rock-solid dude. Randy Cross has taken time to join us. Randy, what's happening, man?
Not much. Doing good.
Well, it's great to have you. I appreciate you taking the time. There's a lot to talk to somebody like you about in this season of life, season of football. I want to start, though, with something personal. So I knew this about you, but I was actually reading this morning. Your father was an actor,
right.
and I knew that, but I did not know that he always played the bad guy, and he would always end up dead a lot of times on screen. As a young man, is that where you got that chip on your shoulder on the football field? That had to be somewhat traumatic.
It made me skeptical as hell about the industry. That there were people that actually made a living dying. It was very much a running joke in the family. We had the one thing we always did every night. There were 7 kids, and growing up, we always sat around the table and had dinner. And when my dad would sort of leave, would say the blessing for dinner and all that, and then my dad would always kind of update everybody if he had any news. And he would say, "Well, I found out today I got I'm on Gunsmoke, an episode on Gunsmoke, or I'm in this movie, or one time he said I'm in the Planet of the Apes." Another time, he said I'm going to be on Get Smart, which was my favorite show at the time. And I was like, that is so cool. And the first question, and we rotated it between the kids, but everybody always asked at some point, "Do you die?" And he'd start laughing, and he goes, "Yeah, I die." And when he was in Get Smart, I mean, he might be the only chaos agent to actually get killed by Max Smart during that show. It was about an 8 ricochet shot, but the bullet came and eventually shot my dad and killed him.
Yeah, so that was I guess baptism by fire for you as far as Hollywood was concerned.
Yeah, and there was a lot about it. I mean, actors, I respect the hell out of guys, women, people that can devote their life to that industry, because there are literally, in predominantly LA, a couple other cities around the world, there's this aggregate of very talented people that spend a lot of their time sitting around waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah.
And it's, my dad always said, "I am not an actor." He goes, "I'm a working actor."
That's true.
He says every waiter in LA is an actor.
Yeah.
But I am a working actor.
Well, dude, there's so many storylines around football right now. It feels like a Hollywood script. And two things about Sunday Night Football I wanted to ask you. We'll start with this. You've been around teams that have had that maturation process that have turned you into a Super Bowl caliber team. The Ravens and their inability to beat the Buffalo Bills, is that a big deal, or is that really no deal? I mean,
Well, I think it's, to them, it's no deal. To the Ravens, it ain't a no deal to Buffalo, because Buffalo's proven enough times that no matter where, no matter when, no matter how many we're down, we got a shot. And if you kind of fell asleep last night, and I wouldn't have blamed you because I was close, after Travis Henry took that ball, 50 yards?
Yeah.
And nobody that big should be that fast, by the way.
Dude, especially not at 31. He hit another gear.
His normal doesn't apply to him. He's just one of those guys. Because normally running backs especially start to wear out. And he just lifts more and runs more and pulls heavier weights up hills and does all that as he ages. But if you just at that point said, stick a fork in these guys, I'm getting some sleep, I wouldn't have blamed you a second. I wouldn't have blamed you a bit. And I might have nodded off right about then, but my wife woke me up. I feel somebody shaking me, and she goes, "You got to watch this. You got to watch this." And I looked up, and it was right before that drive was getting ready to start at the end. And we watched that whole thing, and I was just, part of me wanted to laugh, but it's another part of me I've been on those kind of teams. I've had that kind of quarterback. And trust me, once you do that one time with a quarterback, one time, it's like a chip in your back pocket, because you look at the clock and you look at the scoreboard and you look at the clock. You go, okay, let's see, that's 3 possessions. We're down 17 points. We'll just tie it and go into overtime. And it's your confidence in the guy that's behind you, if you're an offensive lineman. But they just don't make many of those. And for all the flowery descriptions of college quarterbacks and pre-draft stuff, there's no other trait to me for a quarterback to have and to prove you have it than that right there.
Yeah, being able to march down the field and just take a game right from someone.
Mm-hmm. Just be able to take that still beating heart and just kind of show it to the guys you're playing and going, here you go. This is yours. Now it's mine. And that's literally the words that are used in instances like that we're going to snatch the heart right out of their chest. Watch. And you get to do it.
How about Lamar Jackson, and shoving that fan? I know you've had a lot of experience in unruly environments, right? With crazy fans. Have you ever had to navigate a situation like that? I mean, I know it's not, you never would say, okay, it's okay for a player to run into the stands, but I certainly understand how it happens.
Yeah.
What is your thought process when you see that? Randy Cross sees that.
Well, I mean, it's very much, and you have to understand it as a player. It's kind of like your face mask, because there are coaches that will grab your face mask and shake your head, and at least when you're a kid. And one of the best things, Brian Jones, who I work with at CBS Sports,
sure,
inside college football, his favorite saying about that, and it's something we always said when I was a kid, was, you know what? Everything outside this face mask is yours. Everything inside this face mask is mine. And if you start threatening what's inside my face mask, it's your ass. And that's the same thing kind of applies in the stands. The stands are theirs. The field is yours. And really, if you start mixing those things up, if a fan comes on the field, he's got to expect, A, security's going to get him, and B, if he's trying to confront a player there's going to be an issue. And I think vice versa. You can't guarantee security in an NFL stadium. You don't have enough security in an NFL stadium for a guy that, if you go into the stands and there's a confrontation, it's going to take a minute to break it up.
Yeah. Yeah. It can get ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I think at some point Lamar also, and he's one of the most talented. He's one of the most kind of thoughtful, introspective. He's got all the positives going for him. And he's patient. He's got the patience of Job, because how many years has it been now that he either ends the year or during the year is reminded about, well, you can't really close. You don't really finish that well. You're talented. You throw for a lot of touchdowns, but you're not winning these close games. And to his credit, he just shuts it off. Somewhere he's got to have a scream room or something in his house where he can vent.
Or a really good therapist, right? I agree. I totally agree. Well, I want to ask you a little bit about Micah Parsons, and we're in Texas here, and a lot was made of that situation, and probably should have been. What's it like, or I guess how much does it mean for Micah to have a fresh start in Green Bay? And that's the first question for you. How much do you think it means to him? Because you've been there when stars have entered your locker room, right?
Yeah.
And they have to, especially a championship locker room like yours. What's that like for a player to get a fresh start?
It's fantastic. Besides the obvious, we always start with the money these days, and that money was pretty obvious. I think the best analogy I'd give you is my 6th year. We'd already started the regular season, and down in San Diego with the Chargers, they were having a problem with their defensive linemen because they'd all basically the contracts were all coming in up within about a 2-year period, and they're going to have to pay them all. And Fred Dean was number 1 on the list. And Bill Walsh made a deal for Fred Dean the week we played the Cowboys. And he brings in Fred Dean. And I think Fred had 3.5 or 4 sacks that day. He tortured, the poor Cowboys and Danny White and them. And made an instant defense. As good as our young defensive backs were, the combination you had to have was the pass rusher with the defensive backfield. And Green Bay's always had a decent pass rush. They've always had a decent defense, but they haven't quite had a guy in a while like Micah Parsons. And that is going to pay off like a crooked slot machine, I think, for them. They're going to be very happy.
Randy, that preceded your second Super Bowl against Miami, right?
First Super Bowl.
That was your first one. So that was the first one when you beat Cincinnati.
We pick up Fred Dean, I think Monday or Tuesday. He's in practice Wednesday or Thursday, and Sunday he has some stupid amount of sacks and ruins the Cowboys, and we beat him like 45-14 or 45-20.
Dude, that's a great comparison because it literally was the thing that you could say catapulted you guys to that Super Bowl quality and winning team.
People tend to forget about those kind of things. It has been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been 26 years, but no, 24 years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, it's not 24. Damn, it's 44.
It's more than that. Yeah, 44. Yeah.
But there's a pretty straight line between the two.
So what was it like? I got just one more about your career, and then I want to ask you one more thing, and I'll let you get back to your life. With playing for Bill Walsh, how much gratitude do you have around that, being able to have – I mean, being around you, I know you have a ton of gratitude, but for playing for a genius like that, what does a guy like Bill Walsh do for a guy like Randy Cross?
Well, I was really lucky. And any player that doesn't admit that, I think is stupid, because I got news for you. It ain't you. It's us in this deal. So you got to have good teammates and talented teammates, but you got to have good coaches. And in college, I was around Pepper Rogers, then Dick Vermeil, and Terry Donahue was my offensive line coach for 4 years. Then I went to San Francisco and hit a bit of a lull. We weren't very good for a few years. Then I got an offensive line coach that made the world of difference to me. And
Bob McKittrick?
Bob McKittrick.
Yeah.
And he was the best thing as far as a line coach after Terry Donahue that had ever happened to me. Terry recognized my ability. I thought Bob really refined it and let me do the things that would let me, be as good as I could possibly be. And behind all that was Bill. And, Bill had pretty much 3 phases in my life. He had head coach in 79, 80, and 81, where and it was a group deal, we won a championship. 82, we kind of betrayed him and had a horrendous year, and a bunch of us screwed up off the field and all that stuff, and we played like it. And then he completely changed in 83, and he was above us. And he had to be, because he saw coming was all these guys that had helped me win, I'm going to have to get rid of them. So that's when we started having the talk after seasons, where he'd tell you, hey, look, you got 3 or 4 years left here. You might play another 6 years in the league, but you only got 3 or 4 here. And you come out of that meeting, your head shaking, going, damn. And that was just some of the off the field stuff about Bill. So, you talk about the minority hiring practices that he started, the clinics and stuff with the historically black colleges, everything around football, the offense that, whether people admit it at all, a lot of the basic principles and patterns and route concepts are old West Coast offense stuff, and that's Bill Walsh. His impact on this game was not nearly as big as it was on my life, but it was close. I owe the world to Bill.
His fingerprints just all over college, pro football. Football is a sport. All right, last one or two more for you. UCLA right now. Obviously, you just look at the Rose Bowl. It's just nowhere near the fireworks and the buzz when you played and years after you played. What does it take for a school like UCLA to get back in the fray, right? To become a team that's thought about again as a top 25 team? Is it because, it's a state school, it doesn't have the type of like NIL opportunities? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I don't know. University of Texas is a state school last time I checked, based in the capital of Texas.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Ohio State, well, it's a state school. So yeah, that's a public school. UCLA's been given that pass for a long time. What they don't have is they don't want to win bad enough. They don't, they used to be something in basketball. When I was there in basketball, I grew up with UCLA when they won 10 or 12 NCAA tournaments.
Yeah.
And would settle for nothing less. Coaches got run out of town for only making it to the semis and not getting a championship. It really kind of hurts. I think I've always viewed it in two ways, and this will be a quick answer, or the end of a long answer to a short question. Recruiting. I don't care if you're paying people or not. Recruiting has got to be a little easier when you're bringing kids into Brentwood / Hollywood / Beverly Hills and whatnot. Just that area, it's got to be easy to recruit to. I don't care what anybody tells you. And if you ask anybody that's coached there, it's a definite plus. The biggest problem they have, to me, they don't have that Phil Knight. They don't have that T. Boone Pickens. They don't have that array of oil billionaires in their back pocket that Texas has. They don't have that same array of billionaires that Alabama has. You would look around and you'd think maybe they should, but I think that would be the missing piece. And if there was one thing I'd wish for UCLA, I'd wish for them a gazillionaire that takes an interest in football and decides to donate $500 million to the program or something and let them compete. Because you can say whatever you want, but it's about the bodies and it's about the dead presidents. It's about money.
Yeah.
Pure and simple these days. And if you can compete, you can get there. If you can't, you're watching. And there's going to be a consolidation here pretty quick in college football. We're not staying at 136 teams in major college football. That ain't staying the same, because that pie is just not going to be cut up that many ways. I don't care how much that slice is by the time you get past 100. There's going to be a cutoff of 50 or 60 teams that are going to run college football. And maybe we get a relegation, type of situation like soccer has, where if you're not good enough, you can drop down or you can be brought back up. But that's coming. And if UCLA is not careful, they're going to be on the wrong side of that cut.
Yeah, and that's almost unthinkable, right? If you grew up watching UCLA, that is hard to imagine. All right, last one for you. Who is your biggest winner after week one of the NFL season? A weekend. We got one more game tonight, but biggest winner.
Yeah, I thought Buffalo doing what they did last night and doing it in front of the whole country was kind of hard to beat. For me personally, watching Brock Purdy in that last drive against Seattle was pretty special for all the crap he took during the offseason. And one of the reality is when you get paid that kind of jack, people are going to mess with you. and they're going to discount you. But you know, he's pretty amazing, especially when he doesn't have all the toys around him, and in this case, not the best protection in the world to still be able to do that. I thought was very, very special. And Aaron Rodgers throwing 4 touchdown passes against the Jets. Talk about karma's a bitch.
Yeah. Do you think he still has it? Like that he can do this all season long and really maybe take the Steelers further than people thought?
I couldn't tell you, because I'm sure right now he couldn't tell you, because I mean, he would try to tell you. Yes. You know, you start with 4 touchdown passes. You do that for a couple of weeks, people are starting to get out record books and saying, well, can he throw for, who's the oldest quarterback over, what are the most touchdowns by a quarterback over 40, blah, 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 blah. Well, he's got a good start. But from watching him, if you watched him last year at all, and now you watch him this year, he's moving completely differently. And I thought his ability to scooch out of the pocket, his ability to keep plays alive, and then the angles he can throw at have always been exceptional. But his ability to move so much better, I think, has really helped him.
Randy Cross, the Super Bowl champ, a great all-around guy, man. Thank you so much for taking the time this morning. I know how busy you are. Of course, people can see Randy. CBS Sports Network, CBS Sports does great work. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right, there's the great Randy Cross. How about that? How lucky are we talking football with Randy Cross? That it doesn't get much better than that. All right, Scotty, we're going to step aside, take a quick break. Remember, the Pete Sousa Show is brought to you by Slovacics. Stop at Slovacics. You know, you're going from Dallas to Austin. Come on now. Get off that exit. Go see Ray at Slovacics. Make it happen. And if you got a hankering to buy a car when you get off that exit, Socorro Family Ford, baby. I'll take care of you. The Pete Sousa Show. Back after this short break.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
OsleyMD.com. I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again. OsleyMD.com.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress. It's like a wearable hug for your nervous system that helps you calm down and feel better. The Apollo wearable will send gentle vibrations to your body, like a song you can feel instead of hear. You feel better. You sleep better. and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science. Take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Angles 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Angles90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
All right, the Pete Sousa Show this week. Tomorrow, we are catching up with Sal Palantonio from ESPN. Talk a little about the NFL, get his insight on the Dallas Cowboys after that loss on Thursday. CeeDee Lamb with those 3 drops. I mean, it feels like forever ago now, but my one we did an open for the show on Friday, but something happened and like there was no audio. So, I mean, that was on me. I did it from a hotel in Orlando, but one of the things I just talked about was it sucks watching guys make those drops. And, you know, I know he doesn't want to make the drops and all that stuff, you know, and I always try to take the players' like point of view or perspective, but you got to make those catches, man. You're the 3rd highest paid receiver in the NFL. There's no excuse for that. And there's just he knows it, but I mean, you could have, that was a game for the Cowboys to steal. Against the probable, or at least now, according to a lot of people, NFC contender in the Super Bowl. So, or a probable, I should say. I'm going to get my English down. So that was a bummer for Cowboys fans. As an Eagles fan, of course, I loved it, but you never want to see somebody drop all those passes. I will say the weather delay doesn't help these guys. And of course it doesn't, right? Hot take, like, I should just totally do a hot take because after a weekend of like all these like storms and whatnot, I did a game in Orlando. It didn't start till 8:00 because of the rain and the thunder and lightning. And this was a week after they had a 2-hour and 5-minute rain delay or weather delay in Orlando at UCF. And I was thinking to myself, like, you know, like the old man in you that just goes crazy and like you use the edit button in your mind so you don't say anything. But like, you know, when is the last time a football player got struck by lightning? Can we just play? I mean, can somebody tell me? Like, literally, that thought goes through my head. Like, come on, is it really going to happen? Like, yeah, that's why I'm not in charge of anything like that. But it is funny they play all these games. You know, like we're raring to go at the bounce house on Saturday, and you know we got to kick the can down the road. But we got the game in. Scott Frost, by the way, I do want to talk a little bit wax poetic about him because that's a guy who he had the biggest turnaround in college football, right? In the history of recent college football. He had a winless UCF team. He makes them undefeated. And then he gets a job in Nebraska. And you more and more you learn by being around this dude. He didn't really want to go to Nebraska. Tom Osborne really recruited him back. He got back there. You know, all his old teammates were back there. The environment was kind of wacky, I think, for him. And then they started to lose, and people really turned on him. People that he really respected and thought he was close with. You know, he lost 6 straight. I forgot about that to begin his career as a head coach at Nebraska. And let me tell you, man, it was a rough go for him there. And to be back at UCF in a Power 4, first of all, the guy's just so grateful. And second of all, he can coach his ass off. Like, He's calling plays now for the first time in like 4 or 5 years, and you can tell that's a team to keep an eye on. Not necessarily this year, but like that will be a Big 12 team we're talking about next year and the year after. It's like, okay, what are these guys going to do? Because the same thing that Randy said is something that I believe about some of those destinations. Scott Frost was like, dude, you get these kids to Orlando, they really don't want to leave. And UCF is a really nice school. It's really new. I mean, it's 68, I think it started. So that's, I got to talk about that. And the great Chris Visser, our executive producer, came to the game. He lives in Orlando. So I got to meet him, and it was awesome having him in the booth. He's like literally forgotten more about that stuff than we'll ever know. And here's an example. He's just chilling, kicking it in the back of the booth, like just totally staying out of the way. But kind of like watching, and he's a guy I really respect and I can learn so much from. But he's really not going to tell you anything unless you ask, most of the time at least. But it's the second half. A&T is on their third quarterback. The guy wasn't on the 2 deep. His name's Ty Walls. He comes into the game. I see he's from Pittsburgh. That's exciting. But we got nothing on this dude. So I'm just like, all right, well, here it is. I kind of drum it up. Here's Ty Walls, opportunity of a lifetime. And I get a note from somebody in the back, and it's from Visser, and it's that Dan Marino played at Central Catholic High School, where this guy went. So I mentioned that. And then the guy who's calling the game with me, Todd Doxson, who played for the Miami Dolphins when Dan Marino was there, Dan's like last year, he got to talk about how great Dan Marino was for him when he got to town in Miami. So that was like one of those deals where it's like, all right, Visser, an asset in and out of the studio, right? So that was pretty cool. But one thing I want to bring Scotty in for quickly. Scott, are you with us? Scott Swingler? Scotty?
I want to be clear. Only my mother and people who knew me pre-middle school can call me Scott.
I mean, you like Scotty because it's like a cute name, like the girls like it.
It has nothing to do with the girls.
Yeah, girls think it's cute.
I liked Scotty way before any girls liked Scotty.
I would honestly, real talk, if people call me Petey, I don't mind. I kind of like it.
All right,
people
Petey.
are like Petey. Yeah, I dig on Petey. Top 25, Holmes. College football. Let's talk. It's first thing hits hard, right? No Big 12. 3 teams, right? But it feels like none.
I was gonna say, hello. Are we looking at the same
look,
list?
it's less than we had last week, right?
Well, Kansas State sucks and Baylor lost to Auburn, so this is what you get.
Yeah, this is what you get, and Auburn is in the top 25. So
they should be.
Again, hoping that can be one of those games, right? That when you look at the end of the season, like, well, that wasn't a bad loss at all. I mean, it is amazing how your season, and I know you still have a lot of questions around the football team for Baylor in general, but how your season can just flip like that. Now Baylor's like, okay, Auburn's ranked. We just beat a ranked team that was in the college football playoff. We got Samford. Let's put our feet up. I mean, they're not thinking that, but fans can kind of think that. And let's get ready for Arizona State. That's why sports are so awesome. But what jumps out to you as far as the top 25 is concerned? Like, who's left out? Who's ranked too high? Quick observations.
Sure. Let me tell you the 2 teams that I was so impressed with this past weekend. Number 1, Oklahoma. What a turnaround from last season. I don't know if Michigan's that good. They were obviously super overrated at the beginning of last season. Possible they're overrated right now. That might be another 7-win football team. But Oklahoma looked really good against Michigan on Saturday. And that's a team that wasn't good last year. They went 6-6, I believe. So good win for Oklahoma. And then, brother, I predicted in our little playoff predictions before the season that Navy would be the group of 5 team to get in. This USF Bulls team is fun to watch. They are good, and they have number 5 Miami this weekend. Pete, if they can beat Miami, and I wouldn't pick them to beat Miami, but if they can beat Carson Beck in Miami, if they can beat Miami this week, this USF team is going to catapult into the top 15, and that is going to be a really fun group of 5. It's fun to watch. Like Boise State has been like the group of 5 darling for 2 decades now, right?
Yeah.
It's really fun to see another group of 5 school get this opportunity to play really well. So I'm kind of rooting for the USF Bulls.
You and I are similar in that regard. Like I like these guys getting a shot. I really, really love.
And then my other comment, you asked about overrated, underrated.
Yeah.
Why in the world? And you know how I feel, but I'm trying to take personal feelings out of it. I need a rationale.
Okay.
How is Illinois ranked number 9 and Indiana's 22? By the way, I believe those 2 teams play this Saturday. I could be wrong. They play soon. I think it's this week.
You're still on your bullshit with Indiana, huh?
My bullshit, as in they were in the college football playoff last year, and Illinois was not.
They don't play. By the way, they don't play this weekend. Indiana plays Indiana State, and just to give some context,
they play early in the season. We'll find out soon.
How about the CW? I mean, you want to talk about high-fiving all over there? The CW has Miami USF.
That's exciting for them.
And those games were plotted.
Their score bug is great. The CW score bug is elite. We were all agreeing at the wedding that CW.
What did you think about? I would only say this. I don't think I would never. I don't. Well, okay. So the guy who called the game, the Baylor game, was awesome. There was one thing that happened that he kept. Sometimes he would call the receivers by their number, and I was like, "What?"
There were
number 3. I was like, "Wait a minute, what do you mean number 3?"
There were a few complaints I had about that broadcast, but I'll keep them to myself. Otherwise, Alabama's overrated. I don't think they're a top 25 team this year. Who else? There was one more. Oh, Josh Pate made this point over the weekend, and I think he's right.
You love your boy Josh Pate. We might get him on the show.
I would love to get him on the show. I think he's very talented.
He is very good. He's very good.
Vanderbilt should be a top 25 team. They are putting up ridiculous statistics. The only reason they're not a top 25 team is because their jersey says Vanderbilt and not Alabama. Vanderbilt is probably underrated. So there's my thoughts.
All right. I'm with your thoughts. I like Vanderbilt being ranked. I mean, I think right now for Vanderbilt, for Auburn, teams like that, like it's go time now, right? Because you're going to be in the SEC, and it's like, and for Oklahoma as well. We got Roy Philpott, who has the Oklahoma Temple game this Saturday in Philly. So we're going to talk to him Thursday. I'm pumped to talk to him about like his prep for Oklahoma, because to your point, it's a good time to be a Sooner fan right now, as far as like expectations and excitement.
The long season to go, and last year was not good, but defeating Michigan as soundly as they did is a great step.
Yeah. And one more thing. I got 2 more topics before we wrap it up. One is kind of, I want to get your take on Micah Parsons. Like, does that, as a Cowboys fan, like, first of all, Micah said the most obvious things in the world after the game yesterday. It was toxic there. I was exhausted after the offseason. And he didn't say it was toxic there. He just said the offseason stuff was toxic, right? It was like, yeah, Micah, that's news to no one. We were all exhausted as well. I did get the feeling on Thursday night, not necessarily like the Cowboys still, their defense isn't good enough. Like, we get it. But like the Cowboys, they seemed like, it seemed like a breath of fresh air for the Cowboys. It really did. It really, really did. And one other observation about the Cowboys game and NFL games all over the country, man, the NFL is is a much cleaner product than college football, between the lines, X's and O's wise. Like, it's becoming very, very obvious to me watching college football now, because of all the transfers. It's still an amazing product, and I'm here for it like you wouldn't believe. But it is sloppy and clumsy, and some of the games are like kind of tough to watch, whereas the NFL is just a beautiful, well-oiled machine of a product.
I mean, it's the same with basketball, man. You take the best of the best of the best and put them all together, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, but the NBA sucks. I disagree. The NBA, just because of the way people approach winning in the NBA now, it's too many threes. It's kind of a bore sometimes.
Oh, see, I think college basketball can look so awful a lot of the time when you're not watching an elite team, and NBA is usually fun for me. Dude, I have a phrase that I've been using with my friends for a couple years now, and it's, we're adults, two things can be true at once, right? Like just because one thing's true doesn't mean another thing's not true. So this is true. The Cowboys looked way better than I thought they would look last Thursday night. They played the Eagles really well. I give a lot of that credit to Coach Schottenheimer. I think you have to. That is true. It is also true. I think that has nothing to do with Parsons' exit, and I think that team would be even better if Micah Parsons had been on the field. Okay. Micah's not wrong. That situation, horrible, bad look. I still don't like Jerry Jones for it. Just bad. I think it's going to be bad for the Cowboys long term. And I think Micah showed you that last night, by the way. He was only in the game for, I believe, 26 snaps for Green Bay, and he was second on the team in pressures and had a sack despite playing, I think, like less than a third of the defensive plays, kind of in his first ease back into action. So the dude is a top 5 player in the NFL. He's arguably the best pass rusher in the NFL right now. And you don't let that guy get traded because, well, that's not how we do it here at the Dallas Cowboys. We don't talk to agents. We talk directly to players. Get over it, bro. I'm still not happy about it. So hey, I think
go ahead.
I just don't think the two are correlated. Like I think the Cowboys would have looked really good against the Eagles and probably even better if Parsons were in the building.
Okay, well, what did you think about Dak's new body? I have a thought on that. I think that actually,
Pete, I don't make too much of a habit of making close observations nor comments on other men's bodies.
Okay, well, you're missing out.
Or women's bodies, for that matter.
Dak looks like a chiseled specimen. He definitely looks different than he did last year and years prior. Now, you could say, if you wanted to be a prick, he's just getting in shape for his wedding, and it's not for the Cowboys at all, right? And he's totally whipped.
Could be true.
I would like to think that it's for the Cowboys, and the dude looked great on Thursday night. So I'm excited to see what he does this season for the Cowboys. Because we shit on that guy so much.
I do.
And it's like, dude, Chris Collinsworth hit it a couple times, and shame on me for not thinking of it or remembering it. He was second in the MVP balloting like a year ago, like 2 years, right? But like
2 years ago. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's right. And he got hurt last year. And if you look at the numbers, they're so much better with Dak than without him. And, we'll find out, right?
My opinion on Dak Prescott has not changed an ounce. He did look good last week. He looked really good. He looked sharp. He looked better than he's looked in a few years. My concern remains your body can look better, but the surgeries and the rehab and the injuries are living there. And so I really, taking everything else out of it, how I feel about his play, I hope the guy can stay healthy, man. I mean, if we get into week 8, 9, 10, and he still looks like this, and he's playing like this, I'll have to eat some crow for real. But I got to see it over more than 1 week, and he's got to stay healthy. None of his body or none of his play matters if he's hurt week 4, right? Like that's always my number one concern with Dak at this point.
We joke about like the quarterback club, and that's what we do that for the Big 12. Taylor McCargan and I, like, who's not getting in the quarterback club? Avery Johnson and Joe Milton. They were our two guys. They are like outside the quarterback club.
Listen, and I was 100% drinking the Kool-Aid on one of those two guys, and I was dead wrong. Yeah.
All right, I got the last topic for today, and it's just a thought and an experience I had. So someone in my life, a younger person who you would say maybe I like mentor, is really having issues. No, not you.
Okay. I don't know the story that's coming, by the way. All right,
yeah, this person, it's just, I thought of this and how it related to sports. And I was going to, because things have gotten serious. And this person is being swept away in a situation with their girlfriend. And it's just getting wacky and nutty. And it's time for people to step in and be like, hey, this is no bueno, right? One of the best people I know, right? This young person. So, but, and we're kind of there, trying to shepherd this person in the right direction. But like at the end of the day, all I want to do is like take a picture and be like, look, this is Bill Belichick. Okay. Bill Belichick is a 6-time Super Bowl winner. Okay. Bill Belichick had a beautiful wife and kids. And after his beautiful wife, He had, maybe you would say, an even more beautiful girlfriend when he got divorced. And now Bill Belichick is a shell of himself because of a 26, 7-year-old woman, right?
She's
And
younger
like,
than that, right? Isn't she like 24?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But his whole life is a complete, I don't give a shit mess, like right now, because of this female. Females, when it comes to men and our emotions that can get they're undefeated. And I think like the conversation now can stop and end with Bill Belichick. Like, don't be surprised if you get caught up.
Anybody is susceptible. Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody in the world. And now Bill Belichick is exhibit A for this. And I appreciate him giving us material and stuff that we can use to help the younger folks.
By the way,
yeah.
By the way, I was going to come into today ready to spend an hour and a half holding you over the coals.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's
because
do it real quick.
Because I thought UNC before Saturday might not beat Charlotte. They took care of business. They
did. And by the way, now they have another game against Richmond. Then they play UCF after that. That game is like 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Like I saw UCF, like I told you, future great, but like this year it's going to be
Yeah.
So I mean, it could get better than you think, dude.
It could. And in that case, I'll have to buy you a steak at Diamondbacks. But right now, I'm ready to be treated. I'm ready to be treated, baby.
I got one more too. The Colts are playing amazing, right?
Shocker.
They crushed the Dolphins. So now we got trouble because if you haven't noticed, the one who's running the team now for the Colts, Jimmy Irsay obviously passes away, and his daughter, let's just throw it out there, an attractive woman. She wears a headset. She's got a play sheet, right? She owns an NFL team. I think she's single, Scotty. Hello. Like this is the dream for all single guys out there. I mean, really, could you imagine? Like,
I cannot imagine.
Is she on Raya? Could you imagine you fall in love with this woman? And
you think she's on Hinge, like swiping guys?
I mean, look, you never know because the dating game today, it's the Wild West. Todd, the analyst, asked me, he was super nice. How'd you meet your fiance? I was like, the old fashioned way, Todd. Bumble, He was like, and he got a kick out of that. But yeah, I mean, she is like that's the number one because everybody, every guy, whether they want to admit it or not, like every time I play the lottery, it is, if I win this, I will get a part of a professional organization. And you can damn well bet, I don't give a shit if it's FC Dallas, I'm going to be in the draft room calling shots.
Yeah.
Right? Like with Scotty. Yeah,
dude, bottom line, you just opened up something within me I did not know was there. Bottom line is, as much as I abhor, and I mean that word, look it up in the dictionary, I abhor Jerry Jones for refusing to give up personnel stuff. I might do the same thing.
Exactly.
I might do the exact same.
So would I.
Bro.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one more thing for you today, and then we can take off if you're ready. So I was in a wedding over the weekend.
Oh, good.
Hence why my voice is a little funny today.
It actually sounds great.
I screamed
real timber.
Yeah, it's all because it's all just cracked up back here. I'll be back to my annoying self later, but I screamed at the TV for Baylor, and then I screamed on the dance floor because that's what you do. You scream the songs as you dance. I was the best man at this wedding Saturday. And I will have you know, Pete Sousa, I think I delivered the single greatest best man toast of all time. People everywhere are talking about it this morning. It's all over the national news. And you're getting married next summer, which is the next wedding on my calendar. I haven't been invited to any others. And so I am simply submitting my application. I'm sure you have 27 qualified candidates. You've been good friends with a lot of cool people in a lot of places around America, Pete Sousa. I know you've got many bachelors to choose from here, but I am submitting my application to be your best man. It will be the best toast you've ever heard. And I just wanted to submit that here as we wrap up today's show.
Well, maybe that'll be a thing, like where I'm like, you talk to my brother or, you know, Murph, obviously I talk about, we're so close, where I'll be like, look, I got to go with Scotty. Like if you could have seen his toast.
I got to have him write this toast.
Yeah, you would know why. Like I got tape of Scotty, dude. He is like, he's on a heater. And Mike, you know, Mike, you haven't done a best man speech since Kevin got married. That was 20 years ago. Like
maybe, hey, maybe this is the compromise. I will, because Murph would be a good choice. He's a good guy. I know he's.
You don't want to go. My brother Mike is the best, honestly. Like,
well, either one of them. When you said Mike, I thought you meant Murph, but okay.
No, Murph, Mike, and my brother Mike. I will tell you this: I have given big talks at like big corporations or whatever, whether it's about sobriety or other stuff or schools, and I'm so relieved when I finish up that my brother's not going after me because he crushes it and he's really funny and he's good, and so like. He follows me at a lot of those things, right? I'll go first and then he goes second. I'm like, oh, he was better. You know,
sounds like you have an excellent choice then, but maybe if he needs a shadow writer or, you know, if he wants to put together a toast, that's like an SNL sketch where there's a writer's room. Maybe I can be part of the writer's room.
Did you start off with a joke?
I didn't, kind of a low key joke. It wasn't the funniest joke was not at the beginning. The funniest joke was right in the middle. I really like, set this thing up. It had a good arc and it kind of climbed this peak wherever it was about 10 minutes. Climbed. It was a little too long, honestly, but because I had people laughing every so often, it worked. Nobody complained about the length. Well, at least not to me. I'm sure somebody complained to their spouse or something about the length, but we had a good like arc. It climaxed in the right moment. Everybody was laughing really hard. And then I brought it home and got real serious, you know, at the very end, cracking a couple small jokes in the end.
Did you cry?
I cried twice writing it and rehearsing it. I did not cry at the ceremony.
Okay.
When it's go time, Pete, I'm locked in, baby. I am locked in and a professional, but writing it and rehearsing it, I did twice.
Way to go. By the way, way to go. That says a lot about you. You prepared, you wrote it out, and obviously you're articulate, you know, you're a wordsmith. So you got up there and that's the key, you know? All right, so you got Mosley coming up at 1 o'clock. I urge everyone to stay tuned for that. And tell Mose, you know, I'm ready to sit in on his show at any point because we didn't cover on Thursday. So he won that bet. All right. Scotty Swingler. For Scotty Swingler and the whole gang at the Rogue Media Network. And thank you to everybody at Slovacic's. It's the Pete Sousa Show. We got Sal Palantonio tomorrow. Great reason to watch. Another reason to watch is see where Scotty's voice is at, right? But yeah, the Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacic's on the Rogue Media Network. We will be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a great Monday.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.